Howdy folks, welcome back to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. Are you ready for some science? I'm testing out the blast radius and blast damage of various different bombs here in War Thunder. And the first thing we're going to look at is what we can do with a simple 250-pound bomb. I'm going for that large barn structure. I managed to destroy that and the building right next to it. So that's not bad for a 250-pound bomb, but buildings aren't especially well armoured. And the reason I'm doing this is we're trying to figure out how do you get the best bang for your buck with your bombers. What's the best bomb load to go for? Do you want to go for lots and lots and lots of bombs, or do you want to go for a couple of big bombs? Because it pretty much used to be the case in War Thunder that you tended to want to go for the biggest bombs you could get, because you didn't need to be as accurate, because the blast damage from the bombs would take out targets even if you missed them by a significant margin. And when patch 1.29 came out, one of the many things that people were complaining about patch 1.29 was, first of all, it took forever to grind out the XP that you needed to get the big bombs on your aircraft. And then when you did get the big bombs, the blast damage that they did had been nerfed, and so you needed to be more precise, and you weren't killing as many targets with one bomb as you were prior to patch 1.29. So is it still worth going for big bombs, or are lots and lots and lots of smaller bombs more effective? So this time we're going to have a go with a 500-pound bomb. It's double the destructive power of the bomb that we saw in the first clip. I'm going to attempt, my shitty aiming notwithstanding, to hit the same target. And here we go. So this bomb's twice as big. Let's see how much blast we can get out of this thing. Looks like good aim. Let's have a look at the target area. And yeah, we got... It certainly appears that we got more, but you can see that large barn at the back and the other two structures just in front of it. Untouched. Well, perhaps not untouched, perhaps damaged, but certainly not destroyed. Okay. Well, we can do better than that. Let's have a go with something slightly larger. Now that is a seriously big bomb. That's the 4,000-pound bomb that the Royal Air Force uses. You can carry one of these in a Wellington. You can carry two of those in an Avro Lancaster. It's going to be a long time before my Avro Lancaster gets to carry two of those, however. At the moment, all I have on my Lancaster is the minimum bomb load. The minimum bomb load on the Avro Lancaster is 18 500-pound bombs. No, it isn't. I wish it was. It's 18 250-pound bombs. And 250-pound bombs are not... Well, they're not everybody's favourite bomb, because they're only 250-pound bombs. But just how effective are they? Those of us who flew the premium Russian Catalina, the PBY, when it was rank 1, with its 4,000-pound bombs, used to be able to rack up monster amounts of credits and XP just by dropping one of those bombs on a tank column and taking out half of the tank column with that single bomb. Can you still do that? No, you can't. The blast radius of these big bombs has definitely been nerfed. And you're not going to be taken out... Well, it depends how closely packed together they are, but that's the whole point of this test. But they're definitely not as effective as they used to be in that role. So is it still worth going for big bombs, or is it a better idea to have a bigger number of bombs? Well, let's find out. Here we go, biggest bomb in the game. Now remember, I can only carry one of these. Well, certainly with a £4,000 bomb, it took no prisoners. But that's it. I'm empty. That's it. You only get to carry one of those. Now, if you're playing a historical battle, that's 12 minutes of flight time to the target. Drop your one bomb, 12 minutes of flying time back to your airbase to get another one. Most historical battles are over at that point, and all you've done is at the most kill half a dozen targets. So is it really as effective? Well, it minimises the amount of time that you're spending loitering over the target and getting shot at, so that's not an insubstantial thing. But are you actually earning enough from doing this to make it worth your time? And I don't really think you are. Because one other thing that I'd noticed is that these smaller bombs, it's as if what they've done is as if the bombs still have the same explosive potential, but they're more concentrated now. So I'm noticing that the smaller bombs, and you can't really simulate this by bombing farmhouses, because farmhouses aren't armoured structures. But I certainly have noticed that the smaller bombs appear to be much more capable of killing what you hit with them, as long as you hit something with them. So this is the Japanese Ki-49. It's a rank 7 bomber, and when you get it, the biggest bombs it can carry are 50 kilogram firecrackers. These are the kind of bombs that the Russian reserve biplanes carry, and you get these by default in a rank 7 Japanese bomber. And this is the kind of thing that was inspiring such rage in people when patch 1.29 came out. I mean, what are you supposed to do with 50 kilo bombs against heavy tanks? Well, you know, it turns out quite a bit. Because I've certainly been noticing, and it's flying this Ki-49 that's inspired me to do these kind of tests, is because I am killing heavy tanks with ease, with absolute ease flying this thing, and I've never been able to do it before patch 1.29 with 50 kilo bombs. But then again, before patch 1.29 I wouldn't even attempt to drop a 50 kilo bomb on something as big and tough as a heavy tank. It was always my impression that you needed at least a 250 pound bomb to kill a heavy tank, and that may have been the case, or I may have been completely wrong, but you certainly can now. Let's see how many of these we get. I've dropped 8 bombs, 8 50 kilo bombs, and triple strike. That's not bad. And these things cost you nothing. They're tiny. It's like dropping hand grenades. So it just seems to me that the power of your bombs, it's as if they've nerfed the blast radius, but concentrated the power of the bomb within that smaller blast area. Now, if I'd been dropping 500 pound bombs on those tanks, any direct hits obviously would also have killed the tanks. And yeah, because the blast radius would have been bigger, I would have also hit, but not killed, additional tanks off the point of aim. And there's another one. But the bang for the buck is so much better with these little 50 kilo bombs, because you're still killing what you're hitting with them, as long as you hit something with them. So the benefit of using the bigger bombs, 500 pound, 1,000 pound, and there's another one. Yeah, the benefit of using these smaller bombs seems to outweigh the benefit that you used to get using the bigger guys. Because with the bigger guys, you see 5 tanks cruising in column, you just would aim the bomb at the middle tank and you would kill all 5 of them. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. The blast radius has been nerfed in one way or another. I don't know exactly how they've done it. Perhaps they've exponentially reduced the amount of damage that it happens further away from the centre of, from ground zero, from the impact point. I don't know. But whatever they've done, you're not killing as many tanks with big bombs as you used to. Tanks further away from the point of impact are getting hit, and you're getting a small amount of XP and credits for hitting them, but you're not killing them. So it just seems to make more sense. Instead of going for a small number of big bombs, go for a large number of small bombs. I'm not necessarily saying you should stick to the 50 kilo bombs, but certainly it's nothing to be afraid of if 50 kilo bombs are all you have. I mean, look at this. I'm absolutely slaughtering heavy tanks. That's a I'm not just going for the heavy tanks here as well. Obviously, you can take out an anti-aircraft gun with a 50 kilo bomb. You can take out an anti-aircraft. Oh, there we go. I've shot down an aircraft as well. The overpowered Japanese gunners. But yeah, it just seems to be the case that it makes so much more sense to... Oh, look at that loser. Yeah, don't worry, if you've got no... And he even failed at ramming me. all he did was kill himself. Yeah, screw you, loser. He's taken one of my ailerons off, but that's it. Yeah, it's surprising. This KI-49 is surprisingly tough. It's surprisingly un-Japanese in its ability to take damage. It's nothing like the Japanese fighters. But the point remains. Those of you who are looking at your brand new bomber and you're thinking, oh my god, all I get is 10 50 kilo bombs or 400 pound bombs. It's not all bad news. As long as you're accurate, you can still rack up a good score with these little buggers. Oh, that's a lot of enemy planes. I'm not going to survive this. No, I'm probably not going to survive this. My bombs are gone anyway. Okay, so we've had a look at the KI-49 and the 50 kilo bombs, but this is kind of right at the bottom end of the scale. Those of us with slightly more capable bombers, what sort of thing can we expect? So, something slightly more substantial. B-17. Now, the default bomb loadout in the B-17 is 8 500-pound bombs. It just doesn't carry anything smaller. Ideally, once you have ground out 200,000 XP on the B-17, you'll unlock the intermediate pylons, which allow you to carry 16 of these 500-pound bombs, and I think that is definitely going to be the most flexible bomb load. You can carry 2,000-pound bombs in the B-17, waste of time. Unless you're going after... Here's the thing, this is something I've been complaining about for a long time. Heavy bombers like this are the most effective aircraft at going after big, heavily armoured, high-value targets. Things like battleships and carriers. But you spend so long killing a battleship and a carrier that everybody else is racking up multiple ground and air kill streaks while you're failing to kill one target. And when you do eventually kill that one target, you get next to nothing for it. There's any number of ways they could address this, and I'm sure that they're looking at it. But in the meantime, it's just not worth your time going after the targets that you are best capable of killing. And instead, the most bang for your buck is going after tanks. And to make that worthwhile, you pretty much need as many bombs as this thing, well, not this thing in particular, but as your bombers will carry. And you need to make sure you hit the target. So it's definitely my opinion that in arcade, and certainly 100% in historical battles, you need to be carrying as many bombs as you can strap to your aircraft. And that generally means going for the smallest yield of bomb that you can carry. whether that be 50 kilo, 100 pounds, 250 pounds, 250 kilos, whatever. Whatever gets you the most bombs makes you the most flexible bomber. Particularly in historical battle, where you spend 3/4 of the time flying to and from the target area. The amount of time that you actually spend dropping bombs on target is very, very minor. And as it should be, because the more time you're over the target area, the more vulnerable you are. Now that's the plus side of carrying a big bomb, or 2 or 3 or 4 big bombs. You don't spend as much time getting shot at, but you just don't get the right amount of bang for your buck. Say for example you're dropping 4,000 pound bombs, and you're going for the most valuable targets for your bombs, which are tanks, vehicles, armoured cars, tanks, things like that. If you're lucky, you're going to kill 2 with each bomb. If you're lucky. It's not unheard of, because these things don't drive in a nice tight pack. It's not unheard of for you to only get 1 with a 1,000 pound bomb, or to miss by 50 metres and not kill any of them. Carrying a bigger bomb load just gives you more flexibility. It allows you to carpet the area with 2 or 3 bombs and guarantee a kill, or even guarantee 2 or 3 kills. The odds are in your favour the more bombs you carry. And of course, if you're lucky enough to be playing a game like this where the enemy fighters just completely ignore you, fantastic. We actually lost this one. Most of the enemy... There's a couple of enemy bombers that just went high, flew for our airbase and took the biggest bombs they could and just carpeted our airbase with it. And of course all of our fighters just completely ignored them because they were busy farming kills over here in the middle of the map. And so we lost. But I got a lot of ground kills. And I certainly would not have been this successful if I was carrying the big old 2,000 pound bombs, because I just wouldn't have had as many of them. I wouldn't have been getting any of these triple strike bonuses. I wouldn't have been getting these ground kill streak bonuses. And these all add to the amount of XP and credits you earn. So 100% definitely stop complaining that you can't carry your 1,000 pound bombs and it takes a lot of grinding to unlock the pylons to get your 1,000 pound bombs and your 2,000 pound bombs and 4,000 pound bombs in your bombers, because they're not that good. You see, the problem is that the only thing, these big bombs, the only things they are actually worth using on aircraft carriers, battleships, the big targets, are the kind of targets that are just not worth going after in the first place, because it takes too long to kill them, even with your big bombs, and they're not worth enough. It's counterproductive using the big bombs on the kind of targets that they're designed for, and it's a waste of the firepower of the big bombs using them on smaller targets like heavy tanks, because the most you're going to hit 1 or 2. And it's just a waste of the firepower of the bomb. It's total overkill, and you don't get enough of them to make it worthwhile. Now, of course, you guys who are flying the bombers that don't get any bombs when you unlock them are completely stuffed. You've got to keep machine gunning anti-aircraft guns, I'm afraid. But for the rest of us, don't discount the power of those smaller yield weapons that you carry. The 50 kilo bombs are more than capable of taking out heavy tanks, and you get a lot of XP and credits for killing a heavy tank. You just have to be accurate, and if that means you need to get down low and mess it up with the fighters, well, that means you need to get down low and mess it up with the fighters. The choice is yours. Are you going to loiter around at high altitude, miss because you're too high up to bomb accurately with the 50 kilo, the 100 pound, the 250 kilo bombs, and then just get killed by bow fighters and walk out of the game having killed nothing and earned nothing? Or are you going to get down to medium and low altitude, beat the crap out of those heavy tanks and medium tanks with your with your tiny little bombs, it's perfectly doable. And yeah, you might get shot down, but you're going to make a profit. You're going to earn XP. You're going to be able to unlock bomb pylons that allow you to carry more of those bombs and allow you to be even more effective. I certainly know which one I'm going for. Screw the £2,000 bombs. I'm sticking to the £500 bombs, and I just want more of them. It's the way ahead. As always, folks, watch your six. I'll catch you next time.